Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Ivy Garnica, an IT student. I'll be discussing for you today about the evolution of computer down to application software. So if you find this video helpful, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Okay, so since we are done discussing about the evolution of computer, we are discussing right now what are the components of the computer and what are the parts of the computer. We will be knowing that one. First, we have here the CPU. CPU, once again, does stand for Central Processing Unit. It is the portion of a computer system that carries out the instructions of a computer program to perform basic arithmetical, logical, and input and output operations of the system. It acts as the brain of the computer. So basically, it is the one who are processing everything. So if you can see here in the diagram, this is the input. Once it was inputted in the CPU, it control and process arithmetic and logical units, and it will be stored, and afterwards, it will be outputted. So the components of CPU, we have here 5. First is the arithmetic logic unit. Second is the control unit. Third is the registers. Fourth, cache. And lastly is the memory management unit. So how do CPU work? Once again, the CPU is the brain of the computer, containing all the circuitry needed to process input, store data, and output results. The CPU is constantly following instruction of computer programs that tell it which data to process and how to process it. Without a CPU, we could not run programs on computer. So since this is the brain of the computer, it processes everything. Without the CPU, the computer will not function. And we have here a motherboard. It is the backbone that ties the computer components together at one spot and allows them to talk to each other. Without it, none of the computer pieces such as the CPU, GPU, or hard drive could interact. Total motherboard functionality is just necessary for a computer to work well. Actually, it is also known as the heart of the computer. That was discussed way back in high school by our teacher that motherboard is the heart of the computer. So everything was connected to motherboard in order for the computer to function. If one was not connected, there will be a problem in the computer. And we have here the microprocessor. The microprocessor is a computer processor wherein the data processing logic and control is included in a single integrated circuit or a small number of integrated circuits. So the microprocessor contains the arithmetic, logic, and control circuitry required to perform the functions of computer central processing. So inside a CPU, the microprocessor is attached there. It is the one who is processing. So it is actually called a microchip. So next, let me discuss to you about the memory. So memory refers to the component where data is stored temporarily or permanent. So memory can be classified into two main, the primary memory and the secondary memory. So for the primary memory, we have here the main memory, also known as volatile memory. It is directly accessible by CPU. So this actually includes the RAM, or what we call random access memory. It's a type of computer memory that temporarily stores a data instruction that the CPU is actively using. So there are two types of RAM. the static RAM, and the dynamic RAM. We have here the next is the ROM, the read-only memory. Sorry for the mistake. So ROM is a type of non-volatile memory that permanently stores data and instructions required for booting up and operating a computer. You can actually see this one inside the uh, system unit attached in the motherboard. We also have here types of ROM. We have the PROM or programmable ROM, EEPROM, the erasable programmable RAM, and EEPROM, electrical erasable programmable RAM. So aside from the memory, we have also here the secondary memory. So it is called the storage devices. Devices that retain data even after computer is turned off. It provides long-term storage for program and files. So when we say the main memory, this is actually the data there is actually permanent, but for secondary memory, the data is not permanent since it was used as secondary storage. So here are example of secondary devices. Once again, we have the optical disc. It is flat disc shaped storage medium that uses a laser beam to store, retrieve data. Optical discs are used to store digital information like videos, analogs information, and music. We have here the magnetic storage. So magnetic storage or magnetic recording is the storage of data on a magnetized medium. So the information is accessed using one or more read-write heads. And once again, we have here the flash memory or flash drive. It is a common nowadays. And floppy disk. We have here the HDD. Once again, a flash drive. And network attached storage or NAST. This is actually a dedicated storage device that connects to a network, allowing multiple users and devices on that network to access shared data from centralized location, essentially acting as a central file server. We actually have this one. I have seen this one in our computer lab in high school, used by our teacher. And lastly, we have the cloud storage. Cloud storage is a service that allows users to save files and media on remote servers, which are accessible through the internet. Cloud storage is also known as utility storage. So this time we will be discussing the input devices. What are those devices that is used for inputting data? So input devices are hardware components that allow user to enter data and control signals into a computer or other electronic devices, enable interaction between the user and the system. So this is a hardware component. We have here the keyboard. I know we already know what is a keyboard. We are using this one in typing text in a computer. Like it includes set of keys, letters, numbers, symbols, and functions. So we already know this one, as well as with the mouse. So a computer mouse is a handheld input device used to control a cursor on a computer screen. It allows user to interact with the computer by clicking, selecting, and dragging object. We have also here a light pen. This is actually common use on tablets nowadays. A light pen is input device used to interact with a computer, screen, or display. It looks like a pen and allows user to select object, draw, or write directly on the screen by detecting the light emitted from the display. So this is like a pen. And we have here a joystick. It is actually an input device since it's used to control movement in the games, simulations, machinery, and typically consists of a stick that pivots on the base, can be moved in multiple directions. Joystick often have buttons for additional move functions. We are actually using this one in the games, the one that if we are before in that ship, there are actually a computer or a game machine that we are using this one, a joystick. And we also have your trackball. It is an input device used to control a cursor or other on-screen limited by rolling a ball. Unlike a traditional mouse, which you have across a surface, this is actually stationary. So here we can click the right and left, and this is the one that we are using in rolling the ball. And we have here a digitizer. It is a device or technology that converts analog information into digital data. Make it usable by computers and other digital systems. The term can refer to various types of hardware depending on the context. So since we are done discussing the input, let's go now to the output device. So output devices are hardware as well. It is hardware components that display, print, or produce sound from a computer. It is any piece of computer hardware that displays or shows result after a computer has processed the input data that has been entered. So these are the common components of output. First, we have the monitor. So it is already common. A monitor is a type of external hardware that is used to display visual information generated by a computer. So I know that we already know this one. So we have here types of monitor. We have the CRT, we have the LCD, and LED. Second, we have the projector. Projectors are excellent for presentation, home cinema setups, or any situation where you need to share your screen with a larger audience. We can actually see this one when there are seminars that are using projector. And we have here the speaker. Speaker is a device that converts electrical signals into sound waves. So this is used in order for us to hear what we are doing inside a computer. So it output music, sounds, etc. And we have here printer. So a printer is a device that accepts text, graphic output from a computer, and transfer the information to a paper, usually standard size. So once we're done inputting all the information that we wanted in a Microsoft Word, and we wanted to print that one, you are using printer. So it output. There's an output for this. So these are the old printer types. We have the daisy wheel printer, line printer, thermal printer, dot matrix printer, and what we are using today is the ink ribbon printer, though it also evolved today. So to conclude, output devices are essential for interacting with a computer process data. Different types serve various purposes, displaying, printing, and transmitting information. So by choosing the right output device depends on the user's need.